Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tyler, this is T.A.G Gaming, and today we're doing another video on our Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise mode. This is week 5. We are 4-0 and we face the Chicago Bears this week. But before we get into that, we got some exciting news. We have decided we are going to relocate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after this season. It was a tough decision because I like the idea of keeping the NFL the way it is, but with the teams constantly moving now to Las Vegas and LA and everywhere else, I figured maybe Tampa Bay could move as well. So I've decided to move Tampa Bay out of Tampa after this year, so we'll have one more year to win a Super Bowl in Tampa, and then we'll have to keep our streak alive in another city. I also have some exciting news about my channel as well. I am going to be dropping another franchise mode here before long. I am not going to say what that team is. I'm going to keep it a surprise until the first video so that it'll build up a little bit of excitement for that series to get started. But back to this series, I'm looking at different cities to go to. San Antonio sounds cool. I love Texas, but I don't know about San Antonio. At the end of the day, I decided to go with Toronto. I just think it'll be a cool idea to move them to Toronto. I love snow games, so being up north, that'll be really cool. They got a good basketball team up there, so now they'll have a great football team up there as well with Tampa Bay. Next, we look at players that we've got to re-sign. I still want to bring back Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski if we can, but we have to bring back Shaq Barrett. I think that's number one on our to-do list, is to bring him back. He's still young enough at 27 that he can be a stud for this defense for many years to come. He's played well this year, so we got to bring him back. That's the big thing we've got to do. Ndamukong Suh is getting older. I might try to just pick him up in free agency later and not give him a contract. I'm going to try to offer him something and see if he takes it, but it's more likely he won't take it, or we just won't have room to try to do it, and we don't have enough cap space right now. So the way I see it is, he's probably going to walk, and we'll just try to bring him back in free agency by getting rid of some players. So I got on the board here and thought, why not make some trades? I mean, I've got a few players on my mind that I want to try to see if they have any value out there. We want to keep our main core, but there's a few players on this team that really could be traded, like Cameron Braid or O.J. Howard. I really want to keep O.J. Howard because Gronk's not going to be around forever, and I really do believe that O.J. Howard is the future of this team at tight end. So I was looking through. Cowboys have some interest in Braid, so maybe he can pull a third or a fourth or something like that and just get us another draft pick so we can build to the future, because there's really nobody on the Cowboys team right now that I'm really that interested in that's going to be tradable with Cameron Braid. So we were able to get a third round pick there, and then I'm just looking at some contracts of some people maybe that I can cut to try to save some cap space, because we are really struggling with cap space right now and we don't have a lot of room to be able to bring in new players. I mean, you're looking at Steve Linden. I mean, McClendon, sorry. He's making a lot of money, and you know, we could use that money to maybe bring in a younger free agent a little bit later on. Levante David's older, but I really want to keep him on the team. He's played really well for us. You know, so I just start dropping some third and fourth string guys that we really don't need on the team right now. If we have to pull in somebody later, we can, but as of right now, there's nobody that we have to keep on the team that we can't trade away. You know, we may look to trade some of these one-year players that we don't want to keep around to try to help us win in the future. I did go out and get Nyheim Hines. I don't know if I ever showed you guys that in a video, but it was just a trade I did one afternoon when I was looking over this team's roster, and I thought I could use a backup running back that could help us whenever Jones is not having a good week. So again, just releasing some of these players that are kind of lower down on the totem pole that I don't feel like are going to really need to be on our team for the long run. You know, they've played with us a couple weeks, but we really need to cut some costs to try to get some of these guys signed that we need to bring back next year. So that's our goal here, is just cut some of these players, get ready for the week, get ready for, the next part of the game. Okay, after releasing some of those guys that we really didn't need, I went in and just did some scouting on some players, depending on what position I really felt like we needed to address. And our offensive line is something that could use some help, so I started looking at some left tackles. There seem to be a lot of really good left tackles in this draft class, so it's very possible that we'll be able to find a tackle that can benefit us and help us in the future. But now we've got the Bears. This should be a pretty good game. They have a great defense. I feel like we have a really good defense. So maybe a low-scoring game that, just doesn't seem like either team can get going might benefit us in the long run, because I feel like we have a better offense than they do. So that could help us in the long run, having our better offense than them. And we're going to really check out Jones in this game as well, because with Nyheim Hines, I'm a really big fan of him, so it is possible that he takes over the role as our starting running back in this game, or at least in the next game. I really, really like him as a player. I think that he is a stud. Just a running back that can really lead a team. He's fast. He does have some power. He can catch out of the backfield. So he really does everything. And I know Ronald Jones hasn't had a bad year for us. He might actually be leading the NFL in rushing in this league. At mid-season, I'm going to go through the stats and just look and see how everybody compares and stuff. But as of right now, I'm really just looking at the team that we have around us. Before this game, we really wanted to focus on getting the ball to Chris Godwin, and the reason being is in this game we had a opportunity for a development trait increase, which would put him at a superstar X factor, which is something that I really wanted to do, because I feel like he's a stud already. If we could just add that, it would help us out a lot. But to do that, we have to get 200 yards receiving. So you might see that I kind of uber targeted Chris Godwin in this game a little bit, but I just wanted to get his development trait up, because I feel like if he gets to that level at his age, he's going to be a 99 overall, and we'll have a stud wide receiver for the rest of our time during this rebuild, especially if we're able to, which I think we were able to bring him back. So, we'll have a stud wide receiver for as long as he's under contract with us. As we see here, we hit him, and I mean, he can just take a slant to the house so easily that there was no reason not to bring him back. This was our best game with him. Every throw I made to him, it just felt like he could have took it to the house every single time. So I knew I wanted to get him the ball a lot. I knew I wanted to get that development trait and really push it. So we're up 7-0. We got to hold them here. That's one thing that we've done really well all season, is not letting teams drive down the field and score on us first play. I will say this team has something that I struggle with a lot, and that's Cordero Patterson at their running back position. For some reason in this game, I've played with several different teams, and that guy as a running back just destroys my team. I don't know how to stop him for some reason. Luckily, we were able to get a 3-and-out on this drive, but that's something to watch this whole game, because I struggle with that particular running back. For some reason, I just do. And, we still want to feed Jones just to try to see what he can do. There was a bad read by him up the middle. I really felt like we didn't play well with Jones. And who knows, maybe we make a change pretty soon to Hines just to try to get a better player out there for us. I feel like he's an okay running back, and like he can make those kind of runs, but he doesn't do enough to signify a starting role on our team. I think he's more of a third down power back to get a couple of yards, not a every down back, in my opinion. Other people may feel differently, other people may use him differently, but for me, he just hasn't done enough to signify or to justify a starting role in our offense, especially when we have guys like Godwin and Evans and people like that who are just coming out playing spectacularly. As we throw a second touchdown there to Godwin, but this one's going to be called back on holding on the offense. I think that even if we weren't trying to help Godwin's development trait, I truly feel like we would have targeted him a lot on this game because he was just open. There were so many times that I'd just find him over the middle, and I'd be like, this is too easy. Like, I can't hit this guy across the middle this easily. You know, we're trying to get to 5-0 on the year. We've played really well against every team so far this year. And even, you know, Tom Brady and the rest of the team has played really well. It just feels like we haven't had a real challenge yet with a team that could really put a hurting on us, or a team that could really, you know, slow us down offensively and, you know, take advantage of our holes on defense as they get a penalty here on this play. I really want to see our defense have to, I mean, I know this sounds bad, but when we get into playoff time, I want to see our defense struggle a little bit before playoffs, because I want to see how we react to a close game, if we can come back or stuff like that. But we've always held a lead kind of at the beginning of a game. See, that's where I have an issue with Patterson. He's able to get around the edge so easily and pick up first downs. But like I was saying, I just want to see our defense, you know, have to hold a game out when we're not leading by 2 possessions or 3 possession games. You know, we're always seem to be in the lead, so we don't never usually have to have an issue with that. We are able to hold our team, hold the team that we're playing against to low points, so we're able to put up a lot of points as well and get a W. So we'll see in this game if they put up more of a fight against us. A long third down here, and we're just getting no pressure, and they are able to fire over the middle, and that's actually going to be a touchdown. So right there was a good example of our offense or our defense not playing the way it should and not doing as good as it should. We couldn't get no pressure on the quarterback. I mean, I dropped a lot of guys in coverage, but still, that was long enough. We should have had time to, you know, get some coverage going and make a sack. But it's 10-7. Offense getting the ball in second drive. It's almost halftime. So that's pretty good that we've been able to hold it a little bit. And Brady throws a bad interception over the middle. That was one of the worst throws I've done all year with Brady. And it just seemed like, you know, it went right to him. I was really shocked when I saw that guy creep down. It was a bad read, and, you know, they're going to come back and try to make us pay and maybe tie it up here before half. And who knows? I mean, this might be the game that we lose. This might be the game that we struggle with the most, because it looks like they're able to drive down the field. They're driving down the field pretty easily on our defense right now. They may put up 7, and they will. So actually, this is the first game, I think, that we've trailed at, you know, a big point in the game. We're down 14-10 with, you know, 50 seconds left here before halftime and 3 timeouts. So we do have time that we might be able to drive down the field and take the lead, or get a field goal before halftime to make it a little bit closer. But, I mean, it's stuff like that we've got to watch out for. We cannot take the Bears lightly just because, you know, it's Thursday Night Football and we're looking forward to the next week. Right here, we're just hitting Godwin like crazy, trying to get him the ball as much as we can, but also work the ball down the field, because we do want to get, you know, into field goal range or better going into halftime. Nobody is open there, so we're just going to have to fire it away. And they actually get a late hit on Tom Brady. That's going to be a pass interference roughing the passer call right there. That's going to get us a free 15 and give us an opportunity to try to score a touchdown right here before half. Throw a little screen pass here to Jones. He's able to work it to the outside. Honestly, I feel like if he wouldn't have juked to the outside, he had it. But there's only a couple seconds left here, so we've got to fire something in there as we almost throw a pick. And with 2 seconds left, I made the decision to go for the touchdown rather than just kicking the field goal. Probably a bad decision because we didn't end up getting any points there, and we go into the half down 14-10. But I just felt like with the way our defense plays and the way our offense plays, we might as well go for it. There was a better chance of us getting in than not getting in, but at the end of the day, we didn't get in. That kind of sucks. That puts us down going into the second half. But I really trust our defense and I trust our offense, and I knew that, you know, if we get the opportunity, we'll make them pay in the second half. You know, this defense really hasn't got the pressure on the quarterback. Right there they did, but they really haven't got the pressure on the quarterback the way they have all season. And that may have been what they talked about in the locker room at halftime, because the first half it really felt like the quarterback, which I think is Nick Foles, had plenty of time to do just whatever he wanted. And I'm wondering if maybe that's something that we can improve upon in the draft. Maybe bring in a defensive lineman to replace some of these aging guys. Now, I know we don't have Jason Pierre-Paul right now because he's out with an injury, and maybe that's the reason we're not getting as much pass rush as we have in the past, but we should be getting more sacks on this team with this team. We have too good of a defense not to. And our corners are not picking the ball off the way that I really expected them to. I mean, the turnover ratio for our team is probably not that great, even though we haven't turned the ball over much. We haven't been orchestrating many turnovers either. Here I wanted to get an end around Antonio Brown. I really just haven't been able to do much with Brown on this team. I mean, he's honestly a player that I really like, but I just don't see him being a guy that could probably stay around for a while, just because there's just nothing there that I see that I can do with him. Like, he doesn't fit the way I want to run my team. I like being able to use Godwin in the slot, so really that's really the only reason that I have him right now is it allows me to put Godwin in the slot, and I really can use Scotty Miller in the slot, so I don't really need Brown that much. So who knows? I mean, Brown wants a contract. I don't know if we're going to be able to give it to him. That might be somebody we might have to move later on in the season to try to bring in some more talent and bring in some more people to help on our defensive side of things, because I think that our defense is going to be the issue. I don't think our offense is ever going to not be able to score. I think it's our defense that might have some trouble scoring. So if that's the case, we might want to consider bringing in a veteran defensive player to help us with pass rush or coverage or something like that, instead of having a wide receiver that I really don't need on my offense. But, I mean, things are looking good. It's 17-14. We need to get a stop here in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter now. This game is just moving along really quickly. I mean, I felt like in the game it even felt like it was moving along really quickly. And we do get the stop, so that allows us to just maybe run some clock out, maybe put up some more points, but we're not going to try to, run up the score. I'm not trying to boost my stats every game. I'm just trying to come out and win and make it as competitive as possible. I don't want to see Tom Brady win the MVP with 6,500 passing yards because I go out there and throw so much. So I just want to make it a close, tight ball game that is fun to watch and can be interesting. But right now we want to try to run up the score. There's no guarantee that we're going to win this game. It's just, right now we're just trying to keep ourselves in it, so that hopefully we can get to 5-0 like we want to do. Good run there by Hines. I mean, that's the reason that we might see a switch at running back. That was a great run by him to put us up 24-14. I mean, if he's making plays like that, there's a good chance he's going to be starting for this team real soon. I mean, that was a great run by him. And, just a run that we wouldn't see from Jones, because he doesn't have that kind of speed. And that's something that I worry about watching him play, is I want a guy that has that speed that can get open, and there's no passing game upside with Jones. I think there is with Hines. And I think that might be the reason that we make the move to Hines next game and see what he can do. Plus he's 22 or 23 years old, still young enough with good development that we could build on him and make him a starting running back for this team. I was contemplating looking at running back in the draft and maybe bringing in a good stud running back in the draft, but honestly I don't know if I need to, as we get a big pick there, and I want to see if he can take it to the house. There's a wide receiver going to catch him. No, I think he can do it. I think he's going to take it, and he does. Levante David takes one back for a touchdown. Again, I've said it in previous videos, and I'm going to say it again in this one. there's no way that he's not in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. He's having a great year. When our other linebacker, White, went down with injury, he's been the guy that's just carried this defense. As we give up the kick return touchdown, that is heartbreaking right there. We go out and have a really good play on defense, and then we come back and let them have that to make it a 10-point game again. That was not good on our special teams unit. And they're going to try to get the onside kick here. I don't blame them. They're down 10 with 2 minutes left to go. You've got to try to do something to get your team back in it. So we're just going to try to hammer out that clock and get a win here. We don't want to get anybody injured or get anybody hurt or try to throw the ball downfield or run up the score. We just want to score touchdowns when we need to, and then when we've got the lead in the fourth quarter, we want to sit on that lead and try to win the game. So here we get a good throw downfield to Brown to set us up in pretty good field position. But again, like I said, we're just trying to run the ball, run out the clock. A little bit of a interesting play there for Tom Brady to use him to run the option route, an option was really interesting there, but didn't gain any yards, obviously. But it continues to run the clock down. So on fourth down, we kick the field goal to put us up 34-21 with a minute and a half left in the game. I just want to see what their offense is going to do to try to come back in this. They did have the big kick return touchdown. Luckily, they didn't get one here, but just see what their offense decides to do to try to close out this game. Obviously, they're going to be throwing. That was a great. Did he haul that in? That was a great catch to bring it in there to get them a first down. Wow, that was a really great one-handed catch by him. Again, our defense played really well in this game. I mean, I see 21 points on the board, but really we only gave up 14 with that kick return, and a couple of those touchdowns, or both of those touchdowns, was just on broken coverages up the middle. It wasn't like it was like a big issue there. As we get a fumble, and that should do it right there. Good defensive stop, get the sack, get the fumble, let your offense come out and just ice this one. There's no reason to try to do anything else. Just run down the clock, let this be the end of the game, and let it be that. I mean, we played a really good game. There's no reason to hate on the way we did it. I just wish our defense would have been able to step up a little bit more there before the half, but I don't think we allowed any points in the second half except for the kick return. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good day right there. Looking at the stats, Ronald Jones just didn't have a good day. He only averaged 3 yards a carry. Godwin had a big game. I don't actually think this is a game where Godwin had a development trade upgrade, but I mean, he played really well in this game. It won't surprise me if he does get one here in the near future. Ndamukong Suh played well, but still just not getting the pass rush or the interceptions that I want to see. But hopefully next week we can really pull it in and try to get a good game going. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you're new here, go ahead and give us a subscribe. If you're enjoying this type of content that I'm bringing with the franchise mode, I've got a new series coming soon. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching.